Started. So first of all, right, I just wanted to know. So from you guys, so what do you think a cloud is? So maybe the Vadatta and
I mean, where we can store data and run the servers across the world by remotely, I guess.
mhm. It's not only data, yeah, but that's great one. You know what? Anything else?
Yeah, so we can store the data without, the physical, I mean, any physical storage and all. So we need not to worry about the physical storage. So we can store the huge, volume or huge set of records or data, yeah, in the database.
All right. Anything else? Okay, got it. So basically, this is not only with respect to data or storage, right? So cloud has many things. In that, one of the part is this. But what is cloud computing? I'll just I'll introduce about cloud computing. But before that, right? So I'll before that, what happens? But before that, right, I mean, before the world of cloud computing, what used to happen? Okay, so let's say you are an yeah, what happens when this type of organizations tends to deploy the infrastructure, right? Usually they'll be doing a capacity planning. So where they will say that they will get the requirement that, so in order to run the application, they would be needing around 4 to 5 virtual servers, or with some specific memory and with some specific memory and cores. So base and the storage, what is the storage that is required, and what are the databases, and if there are any license that they need to procure, like if they're having some Oracle or MySQL, or not MySQL, MS SQL, right? They need to procure that. Also, this involves the coordination with 4 to 5 number of teams. Okay, so usually what happens, right, is the organization will place a procurement order with the respective vendor, and they will be shipping that respective hardware from wherever, right, whatever is the location, to the respective data center. And after that, one of the engineer will travel to the data center, and he will plug in and put that respective hardware onto the rack, uh, or on a hypervisor, right? Usually all of this infrastructure on the data center will be in the form of a will be arranged in the racks. So once that is done, what happens is, then there will be approximately 4 to 5 teams that are involved in order to get your infrastructure created. Basically, what I meant by that is, there will be networking team, security team, who will be allocating the IP address once the Windows team or Linux team build the server. So basically, all of this virtualization environment will run on hypervisors or Hyper-V hypervisors. So they usually a physical server on which there will be a hypervisor, and on top of that there will be number of virtual machines. So once the virtual machines are created, the network team will assign IP addresses to that, to those VMs, so that it doesn't change. And after that, right, they will hand over to the database team, the database servers to install, and to the application team to install the application. So basically, all of these complete activity will itself take around 2 to 3 months. I mean, in fact, it might be more. It might be less as well. So, uh, and also what happens, right? So this is the in order. So you build your application, and in order to deploy or get your application live, you're almost wasting 3 months of your time, and involving huge effort from multiple teams. Okay, so okay, so you have deployed your application. Let's imagine the scenario that the application is deployed, and the application got some huge number of huge number of customers, right? User base has increased. So in that scenario, the respective CPU or memory or the servers which you have built might not be enough to handle the respective load. In that scenario, what you would be doing is, you would go and increase the instance size. So that means, if suppose the respective server is running with 4 CPU and 16 GB memory, then you might make it 88 8 number of cores or vCPUs and cores, and 32 GB memory, right? So that you are actually increasing the resources that are allocated to the VM. And you obviously, right, you the user base, when it increased, that will serve the traffic, or that will be able to serve the request. But again, if the user base increase, again you need to go and do the similar activity by increasing the respective instance size. Okay, but there might be a scenario as well, right, where your application is not being utilized 100% of your resources. They're only utilizing they're only utilizing around 70 to 80% only for 4 to 5 hours, and after that, right, it is not utilizing. Only 10 to 12% of your hardware or resources are being used. In that scenario, what is happening is you are actually you actually have over provisioned your resources at the same time, right, they're not being, sorry, the resources are not being utilized in an efficient way. So in this scenario, we cannot do anything. That is because we are also having the load for 4 to 5 hours. Since thinking of that 4 to 5 hours, we are keeping the infrastructure still the same. We cannot downgrade, or we cannot downgrade, or we cannot reduce the instance sizes. So, these are the respective, I mean, before the cloud computing has come, this is how we used to handle we used to have the handle infrastructure deployments for any applications. So, one of the important factor in this deployments, right, we can take on premises is when you are placing a procurement order, you are actually investing upfront. So basically, you are paying to the vendor to actually ship the hardware to you. So that means you are spending your money on your infrastructure upfront, right? And you're spending your infrastructure upfront. Okay, so it might be you may use it or you might not use it. It doesn't matter. You're actually investing. And the next thing is you're, even though you're having underutilized resources on the of the application, you are not able to take a call whether to downgrade that instances or not, because you already have increased the instance types, not types, instance sizing. So basically, from lower configuration to higher configurations. Okay, and whenever you are doing this, the main important factor of building the application is being compromised. So what do I mean by that, right? So you are spending your time building your infrastructure rather than creating the application. So you might be having an another respective team who is actually developing the application and testing the application, but you are also investing equal amount to build your infrastructure. So it might be on the team who is building the infrastructure, or it might be the infrastructure itself where you are paying your where you're paying the infrastructure bill or the invoices at one go. So these are something which are some of the disadvantages of using on-premises infrastructure. And the furthermost, right, is, let's imagine your application has got into deployed onto the respective uh, data center, and after that, right, the important and the major thing is you need a team to handle or manage the infrastructure. What I meant by that, right, is, so you need a team who will actually do the OS management, do the patching, maintenance activities, backups, and so on, right? Whatever operations overhead that whatever operations overhead, right, that are required for the infrastructure, you are maintaining a separate team and you are also managing that team. That is a overhead for you. Okay, so these are some of the limitations when we are actually when we are actually trying to build an application on premises. So these are some of the limitations and the disadvantages. So when the cloud came into existence, right, what what is it that gained a lot of importance, or why the cloud has erupted the complete on-premises market data centers, right, is due to few advantages, right? The advantages are the how we were able to overcome the disadvantages of the on-premises infrastructure. Okay, so that's what is cloud computing. So cloud computing is nothing but you can think that as a utility service where it give you access to create your resources. Okay, create the resources which are actually being managed by some other ones, some other cloud vendors or providers. Okay, you can think of this, right? You are getting a UI where you can go and select what are the resources you need. So it might be CPU, or it might be memory, and it might be the hard storage. You are simply going and just creating or giving your input as what you need, and ultimately, in no matter of time, in 2 to 3 minutes, you're getting a server directly, you're getting a VM created. Okay, so this is what is cloud computing. So you are actually utilizing these shared resources which are spinned by or maintained by some other third party cloud providers. So they are nothing but you are sharing those resources and using them for your respective needs, and if you don't need them, you just terminate them. So that is what is cloud computing major. I mean, when you talk, right, you are actually only paying for what you use. So if you don't require the servers, you just simply shut down and you'll not pay for anything, or you can simply stop your servers and you're not paying for anything. So that is what is cloud computing, right? So when it comes to the important the cloud providers, right, are AWS, definitely, that is a premier. And after that, we are having Google Cloud Platform, Google Cloud, and Azure. So basically, right, these are the three major players with respect to cloud computing. So I said that the main reason that the cloud computing has gained a lot of importance is it has few advantages. So what are those, right? Are basically you're not investing you're not investing, or you're not bleeding money upfront for your infrastructure. So you're just simply going, creating your infrastructure, do testing, and turn it off if at all you don't require. Or you can just what for whatever you are using, right, you can do it. In fact, we are having something called as the reservations or the discount program, right, where you can just simply go and make use of them, so that, right, you will be getting the respective infrastructure at a lower cost. Okay, and the next thing is pay as you go, right? So whatever you're using, you're paying for them. If at all you're not using, you're not paying anything. Okay, the next important feature of the next important feature of cloud computing is elasticity. So what does elasticity mean is, so you can scale your instances, or you can scale your infrastructure to an extent what you need to serve the respective users, and at the same time you can also downgrade your respective instances or the compute. Just a second, guys, sorry to pause, take a pause here. Sorry guys, sorry to take a pause. So yeah, so one of the important concept, right, with respect to cloud computing is its elasticity. So you can scale up and you can scale your down depending on the thresholds what you define, right, with respect to auto scaling groups, or with respect to if at all you are preferring any serverless computing or PaaS or right, you will be having the advantage of you advantage of elasticity with respect to cloud. So the next important thing is when you choose a cloud computing platform with respect to GCP is you are improving your time to market. So that means you are actually concentrating on building your application and testing them, but not being worried about managing infrastructure. So all your operational overhead on managing infrastructure is being taken care by the respective cloud provider. So in our case, it is GCP. So so I mean the next 2 points covers about that. And just to before before cloud computing, when you are actually focusing on on-premises data centers, right, you are actually spending less time on you're building your infrastructure, but rather you are actually spending most of the time in order to manage your infrastructure. So, but this is becoming vice versa whenever you go with a cloud provider, right? So, in cloud, you are actually giving more time to focus on your business application and your business improvement plans, but and worrying less about the cloud configurations. So I mean, this is what is cloud computing in simple terms, right? You can think of cloud computing as a utility or a UI that is being given to you guys, where you can just simply go and spin up your infrastructure that you need, right? Make it just by giving what you need. So that is so. Before I get into the next slide, right? Why? I mean, basically, right? We discussed about what is cloud computing and why you should choose Google Cloud Platform, right? Is basically it is cost effective. So Google Cloud Platform, right? I mean, basically, we are calling before we used to call it Google Cloud Platform, but now it's only Google Cloud. So it is cost effective. So basically, the resources that are you spin you that is the resource that you are spending on Google Cloud are a bit cheaper than the other cloud providers. So, and the next one is global reach, right? So, in GCP has its presence over most of the regions with respect to the entire over the globe. So they are having their own backbone network, right? And undersea cables where they are utilizing in order to get the network from between continents. So that is where, right, global reach of the Google Cloud is there. So if at all you wanted to deploy your application and you choose a region, you need not worry about that the infrastructure is not available in so and so region. It is available in most of the regions. And the next important concept is reliability. What does reliability mean is, so if suppose one of your server which you have deployed your application goes away, then how you are actually able to serve the traffic without getting impacted. So that is what, right, is reliability means. So we are having concept called as regions and zones, where you leverage this. Also, you can also create the global load balancers, which can be across multiple regions. Okay. And the next is innovation. So what does innovation mean is, you are actually paying most of you're concentrating mostly on creating your applications and improving the features in the application, but rather than worrying about managing infrastructure, right? That is where innovation comes into picture. And the last important thing, which is an important thing, but it is quite a bit neglected, that is security, right? GCP services are secure, so you can, whenever you're building any infrastructure, you leverage the services that are available on GCP, and you can build a secure application architecture. So these are some of the reasons why you should be choosing Google Cloud when compared to the other cloud providers. Okay, so I'll move on to the next slide, right, with respect to what GCP services we are having. So the variety you can create these many number of services. So I just brought compute database storage and analytics services, but there are a lot of services that are available on Google Cloud. So with respect to compute services, we are having compute engine. You can think of compute engine as a simple VM that you create and you start leveraging that. So it is you can think of a VM, right? And next is app engine. This is where, right, your this is a PaaS service. What is IaaS, PaaS, and the SaaS? We'll discuss in detail later. So when it comes to app engine, right? So you are completely automating the infrastructure by using this feature. So you just simply concentrate on creating your respective code, respective application. Just go and deploy that, and app engine will take care of the complete infrastructure creation for you. And next is Kubernetes engine. So Kubernetes engine, right, is basically gaining lot of importance now, where the Kubernetes is nothing but an container orchestration platform that is given. So in GCP we are getting Kubernetes engine, which calls GKE, which we call as GKE, where you can just simply go and use that service and spin up your respective pod services and others. So next is Cloud Functions. It is a serverless platform, right, which is being offered where you just simply go and uh, execute your logic and provide the respective output for you. So that is what is Cloud Functions. Cloud Run is again a serverless platform where you are running containers on a serverless platform. So that is the variety you are having in respect with respect to GCP cloud compute services. Similar to that, right, we are also having database services which is called as Cloud SQL. Cloud SQL, right, is a managed service offered by GCP with respect to MySQL, Postgres, MS SQL, where you can just simply go and create the respective Cloud SQL server, and Google will take care of managing the complete infrastructure for you. And the next is Cloud Spanner. Cloud Spanner is similar flavor of MySQL, but the way the architecture of the Cloud Spanner is a bit different, which will allow you to horizontally scale the database as well. So don't worry, guys. I'm just going at a high level with respect to services, but we will discuss all of the services in detail. I mean, going ahead into the respective classes, right? Next is mem store, right? Memory store. I mean, we are having this Redis and memcached, where you can just simply go and use it as for the caching purpose. So big table, right, is again uh, NoSQL database offered by GCP. So data store is again NoSQL database. So these are the respective database platforms which you are having. When it comes to storage services, you are having cloud storage. Cloud storage is simply a blob storage that is available, that is being offered on GCP, where you can just simply go and dump your data. Okay. And next is persistent disk. Persistent disk is nothing but a disk you are attaching to your compute engine. So it is persistent. You are calling it persistent because even though you remove the disk from the respective compute engine, the data will persist in that particular disk. That is the reason, right, you're calling that as the persistent disk. So I'm going into analytics services. So we are having BigQuery, right? It is a data warehouse a platform that is being offered in the GCP, where you just simply go and run your queries on top of your data. So PubSub is again PubSub, right, is again a service offered by GCP, which actually acts as a mediator between two services. Uh, so these are the different services, right, that are available on GCP. I just brought up compute database storage and analytics services, but you'll be having lots of services where you can just explore. So I'll just go on and I will be giving you a brief, right, on what is GCVM. So GCVM, right, we are talking compute engine. We are talking, it is just simply a virtual machine where you can just give what network it is in, what CPU it want, what memory it want. You can give them, and that will spin up your respective VM, and you can utilize it. So with the advantages of the GCVM, right, you can scale them. Depending, if you put them under a managed instance group, what will happen is they will scale your respective infrastructure based on the thresholds that you define. And also it is a secure. So basically it is provided by this Google multi-layered security feature, right? And also we can also have encryption defined when actually creating the respective server. And as I told, it is cost effective, right? You are only paying for what you use, and you're not paying for uh, not paying when you're not using. And also you're having flexible pricing, right? So what I meant by flexible pricing is you'll be getting some discount with when you choose that flexible pricing. So these are the important characteristics of Google Cloud Compute Engine. So with that, right, I will take a short pause here before I get into demo. So I wanted to understand from you guys if you have any questions around. So Saurav and Devdatta, shall I move on to the demo?
Yeah, please.
Sure. So, with respect to GCP, right, we are having something called as Google Cloud Console. Just you can, I mean, how to create that we will be discussing in detail, but you can just simply think of that we are having Google Cloud Console, and so you are having something called as the project. Okay, so you can just simply go. I mean, I'm just going to create a compute engine VM, right? You can go to, so in the left hand side, you're having these three lines, right? If you click on that, that will be taking you to multiple services. I'll just go on to compute engine VM instances, and I can create a VM. So create instance, right? I can create an instance, and I'm calling that as, I'm just calling that as demo instance. So, and you can choose the region which you want. So, okay. So you can choose the which region you want. So what is region and what is zone? We'll discuss in detail when we get into the the actual concepts, right? I'm just choosing North Virginia, and also a zone is allocated automatically. And this is where, right, you are actually choosing which instance type you want. So I'm just going ahead with E2, but what are those families we'll discuss later. So I'm just putting all of this. So basically, you can just optimize that. So basically, I'm creating an E2 medium instance which has two CPU and one core. I mean, two CPU, and each CPU has one core, and you're having 4 GB memory allocated. Okay, so I'm just simply going. So what is this, right? We will discuss, right, all in detail when we get into the actual concept. So you can also these are traffic, and I mean you're having something called as firewall rules, right? Whenever you create any respective VM, you can also, you need to allow the firewalls rules as well. So I'm just leaving all of this as is, just to show you for the demo purpose. So, and just simply click create, and that will create your instance in no time, in less than 2 minutes, right? It will create your instance, and you can just go ahead and start using it. So similar to this, we are having these databases and the respective DevOps tools, right, which are there and whatnot, right? Everything. We'll discuss that in detail. Okay. See, in no time, you are having this instance created. So you can just simply go to this instance and start using this. I'm just taking the SSH terminal here, but usually you can take it from the respective client as well, from your machine terminal, or putty, right? You can also use that.
Sorry. So what is this application? Application or the browser you opened? So what is this? I mean,
Which one?
where you created this instance? This one only. This browser. I
This is
mean,
Google
this
Cloud Console. This is Google Cloud, right?
console.
Console. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are having this Google Cloud Console, right? Where
Mhm.
I'll ask you to, I mean, I'll show you how to create this Google Cloud account. Okay. Where you once you create the Google Cloud account, you'll be able to get into this.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Understood.
Yeah. See, I created an instance and I'm able to get this. So I'm just saying yum install http if at all I install. Okay. So I just wanted to see which type of it's a Debian OS. Okay. So I'm not sure which one it is. Sudo yapt, only yapt. Okay. So yapt install. I put it correct, but I launched Debian instance. If at all I would have launched this. If at all I would have launched the Linux instance that I remember all the commands. Apache 2 not found. It's running. I installed a web server, guys. I mean, I didn't do much anything. So, but all it if at all I take the public IP of this and get into the incognito window, you'll be getting a web page. Okay, the reason for this is with respect to the firewall rules, right? I didn't allow firewall rules. So allow firewall rule 1 second. I'm allowing HTTP traffic. So what is HTTP? HTTPS, right? We'll discuss all of them in detail. Let me save this. So it got saved, guys. So it got saved, right? And when immediately when I allowed the HTTP traffic and it got saved, you see we are getting a web page. So this is that simple, easy, right? In order to create your infrastructure, server, and host your application. I just got this. I can make the custom pages as well. So I can make a custom page. Okay. So what is this? Hmm. So I'm just creating my own custom page, which will get loaded. So I created the new custom page, right? I'll just give. Okay, so I renamed this. So now, if at all I refresh, whatever we gave, right, whatever page we created, that got loaded. Hi, welcome to GCP. That's what I created, and we are able to get that page. So similar to this, right, you can create multiple applications. You can just simply get your code and you can deploy it. It is that simple and easy to create the respective infrastructure and host your application. So, any questions in this, guys? So, yeah, this is just a demo class, right? We'll discuss all of this in detail. Don't worry about that, right? Even if you're not knowing about anything with respect to, do I need to know the development or do I need to know this and this? No, you don't need to worry about anything. We will discuss all of them in detail. And so the way I have structured this course, right, we will be discussing about the respective services, and also we'll be discussing about automation with respect to deployment manager, and also with Terraform, and also how we can deploy the infrastructure by using the DevOps tools. That's how, right, I deployed the created a complete course content. So I'll take a pause here. And
I mean, after this course, I mean, you will be provided the certification like from the institution, or also you can arrange the GCP Google from the Google certificate directly for the exam.
no, we don't get directly from the Google Cloud, right? So basically, in order to get certification from the Google Cloud, you need to register for the exam, schedule that, make the
Okay.
payment, and then do it, right? So that is a different process.
Yes, this is the different process. I mean, you will take care of that. I mean, if we pay and register the exam, then
No, we don't take care. So you having the certified, the you need to give the certification in these the exam providers, right? So we are not the authorized exam provider. So there are, I think, in whichever the authorized exam providers, right? You need to go and give there.
uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, are they accepting the vouchers? Suppose from my company or my organization, they are providing, they are giving the vouchers. Will they accept that one for the
Yeah,
exam?
they will accept it.
Oh,
So I mean, this is completely managed by Google, right? So the vouchers what you get, right, you will be getting from anywhere from the Google only. You can just simply
yeah,
go, but just for exam, you can just use that voucher.
Yeah, that certification cost will be claimed, not this course. Yeah.
yeah.
No, no, this will not cover the certification cost. It's only course. It's only course. It's not. We're not going to provide certification or certification cost. Right, is not included in this course.
Okay. This is totally 45 days duration course, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay. Uh, I mean, I can see, I have a one doubt, like, I can see in Google Cloud website, so there is a three level of certifications like beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So, am I as a front end developer? So, is that needed to from scratch to advanced? Like, I mean, is there any? I mean,
There is no prerequisite as such, right? You need to pass associates, then only go for professional. There is nothing. If you are prepared for professional, right, you can go for professional. If
mm.
you are prepared for only associate, you can go for associate. All right, guys. Yeah, thank you so much